Hello student, this is Sumit Kumar, Assistant Professor, Maharaj College, Ranchi. Dear students, this one is the last topic of international marketing, international trade documentation. In this discussion, we will deal with the various kinds of documents which are used at different phases when export or import of goods takes place. Why proper documentation is required for exporter or importer? Because correct documentation can ensure swift passage of goods to the customer, customer clearance, customs clearance, transfer of title. Transfer of title means transfer of ownership from seller to buyer, and it also facilitates prompt payment for goods supplied. Documents ensure prompt payment for the goods supplied. There are number of documents, but we will here deal some of the important documents used in export. First of all, there are master documents. The two master documents, one for commercial use and other for regulatory documents. The two master documents contain all the information that is common to individual documents. Different forms used in international trade transaction are printed on paper of the same size and in such way that the common items of information are given the same relative slots in each of the documents. What are the features of commercial documents? Commercial documents can be further classified into two categories. Principal export documents. These documents by custom of trade are required for effective physical transfer of goods. Transferring of title of goods from an exporter to an importer, realizing export proceeds. There are other auxiliary documents required for preparation and procurement of principal export documents, which we can say are supporting documents to principal export documents. Then the second category, as we have already discussed, are regulatory documentation. These are prescribed by different government departments in compliance with the requirements under relevant laws. Documents incidental to custom clearance of export, import, consignment, foreign exchange regulations, etc. are covered in this category. Then the other category of document is assistance and incentive documentation. For promoting exports, from time to time government announces many special schemes and incentives. These relates to duty-free imports, concessional import duties, duty drawbacks on exports, and excise-related export goods, etc. Documentation relating to above are called assistance or incentive documentation. Now we'll deal in brief the different kinds of principal export documents. First one is commercial invoice. It is a document of account of sale rendered by buyer to the seller. It is a prima facie evidence of the contract of sale and purchase. Description of merchandise must correspond exactly to the details of LC and should be made on the paper of the seller and signed by him. It should be made in the name of the opener unless otherwise stated in LC. Next is Consular Advice. It's needed mostly by Latin American countries. The importer's country required this to collect accurate import details for accessing import duties and for other statistical purposes. It helps importer to get goods customs cleared easily. Consular invoice has to be got certified by the embassy of country concerned. Customs invoice required by countries like USA, Canada, etc. for allowing entry of goods at preferential tariff rates. Invoice forms are generally available at the consular offices of the importing country and should be signed and witnessed after duly filling the same. Legalized invoice required by some countries. These invoices are shown for their genuineness by seller as being correct before appropriate consulate, chamber of commerce, embassy and bear the stamp and authentication. Certified invoice. Sometimes exporter is asked to certify on the invoice about the goods being of particular origin, packed at particular place and in accordance with a specific contract. Packing list. It shows details of goods contained in each parcel shipment, shows item by item the contents of containers or parcels shipped. Transport documents. Following documents are used in export as transport documents: ocean freight, bills of lading, air freight, railroad receipts, post parcel receipt. Now a document which is bill of lading, which has been mentioned in as a principal export document. What is bill of lading? It is a document issued by the shipping company or its agent acknowledging the receipt of goods on board of vessel, undertaking to deliver the goods in the like order and conditions as received to the consignee or his order of assignee, provided freight and other charges have been duly paid. It is a document of title and by practice transferable. There are types of bills of lading: clean bill of lading, closed bill of lading, on-board bill of lading, stale bill of lading. Inspection certificate indicates that the goods have been inspected before sealing for export. Specialized inspection agencies are there in India. Marine insurance policy certificate. Marine insurance is intended to protect the insured against the risk of loss or damage to goods in the transit due to marine perils. Insurance policy. Then there are insurance policy, insurance certificates, certificate of origin. What is certificate of origin? It is required by the importer for clearance of goods in his country, also required for taking advantage of preferential tariffs granted to exports from India in a particular country. Next is generalized system of preferences certificate. Many developed countries have adapted this GSP. Exporters from developing countries including India are entitled to a concessional rate of import duty in these countries. Next is bill of exchange, also known as draft. It is an instrument in writing containing an unconditional order signed by the maker directing a certain person to pay a certain sum of money only to or to the order of a person or to the bearer of this instrument. Shipment advice. Shipment advice is sent by exporter to importer intimating the date of shipment of consignment by a named vessel and its ETA in the destination port. Shipment advice is sent in the prescribed format. Now the supporting documents which are known as auxiliary documents to principal documents are proforma invoice, intimation for inspection, shipping instructions, insurance declaration, application for certificate of origin, mates receipt, letter to bank of collection, negotiation of documents. These can be easily explained by students on their own. Then there the second category of documents are regulatory documents. AR form, shipping bill, port trust copy, vehicle ticket, exchange control declaration, freight payment certificate, insurance premium payment certificate. So these were the important documents which are used in export of goods from one country to another. Sometimes certain mistakes are done by the parties while preparation of documents. What are these mistakes? Quantity vis-a-vis units of these certain things are incorrectly declared in document, which are quantity vis-a-vis units of quantity, gross weight and net weight, invoice number, date, R1 number in the SB, port of destination and discharge, description of goods, currency, US dollar, Australian D, Euro, etc., CIF value, FOB value, export promotion scheme opted. Apart from there are other documents also: blacklist certificate, weight note, languages certificate, certificate of chemical analysis, phytosanitary certificates, conditioning certificate, antiquity certificates, certificate of measurement, transshipment bill, shipping order. So from exam point of view, you can consider only important documents used for export. Hope this is going to help you in understanding the concept of various documents used in international trade. Thank you.